Hey Matt, how you doing? All right, got you up here. So I want to address this, but I want to go through the pieces while we're talking about this. Or I should say, we want to talk about this while we're going through the pieces. But let me see. One thing I don't understand is the leave behind. You say it's a 5x5 mini portfolio, but I don't know if this is a booklet or if it folds or if it's individual cards. That's not made specifically clear. And then also, how is it going to be presented? So in other words, if it's individual little cards, are they going to be placed in some sort of a little tray or some sort of envelope or something? So you want to be specifically clear on the intent of the the leave behind piece. So I'm not real sure what these numbers represent either. I think they're more distracting than anything else. You have this two here and this two down here. Then this one has a three here. This one has a three here. And then this one also has a three and a three. At first I thought there were page numbers, but since these are both threes, I'm just a little bit confused as to what those specific numbers are in reference to. Okay, so let's go to the business card. Let's take a look at the business card. Let's increase the size here. Okay, so in the business card, you want to include, okay, you have your logo. Your name is within your logo. You want your mailing address. That's optional, but recommended. You just have your location, but you could use, if you're going to use your location, you might as well put your street number on there, right? Telephone, fax and or cell, you've got that. Your email address, you got that, and then your URL, you've got that, and then you want to add your LinkedIn page or your social media when that time comes. Again, we've got these kind of weird kind of plus and minus, so I'm just a little confused as to what these little corner icons are referring to. We saw it in your leave behind piece, and we're seeing it in your business card. So perhaps you could be so kind as to describe what the intent is for those icons and the black bars they reside on. As far as your information here, I would group this. So you have your telephone number. First thing I would do is I would put contact information, then telephone number, then group your media stuff, your URL and your web stuff together. Okay, then when you add your social media, it'll be grouped with your Gmail, with your email address, as well as your portfolio address, and then your social media address. Okay, so then the leave behind piece. Yeah, I mean, I commented on that. So right now, I think we'll jump to the letterhead, which is right here. Okay, so letterhead, what I want to do with the letterhead is I want to reduce the size a little bit, and I want to get a look at the letterhead next to the business card. And that will entail reducing this a little bit, moving this over, bringing this in. Okay, so what we can see is a little bit of inconsistency. Now make sure that when you reformat your type for the business card, make sure that you duplicate the exact same thing over here. Right now, I think that there's too much space in between the contact information. I would reduce that. That's called leading. I would reduce the space in between those lines. And then the same thing here. Now we see, so the main differences that I see are these big black bars with these icons. We don't see them. Actually, we do. Here's the plus again. Again, I'm just really confused as to the intent of those. So maybe you can let me know. Now, if you elect to keep these black bars, I don't recommend doing so. I mean, if you're going to full bleed something off a business card, that's great. That's fine. But trying to do something like this is problematic. And the reason that it is, like, a lot of students want to frame their business card. It's problematic because printer trimmers aren't as accurate as one might think. So the issue that you're going to run into is if one of the top or the bottom is mistrimmed, they're going to appear inconsistent. And it happens all the time. So I would recommend not using those as a bleed element. If you want to bleed off one side, that's fine, but I would not recommend that you bleed this off the top and bottom like that. Right here, you just bleed off the left, so maybe you could follow that soon. And I would also reduce the size of these. This isn't bleeding, it's just bleeding on one side. So if you take that line and duplicate it right there, just have it bleed off one side, it'll point to consistency. But again, I do not recommend bleeding this kind of top and bottom frame area. And again, the reason being is if this gets mistrimmed, these are going to appear to be uneven. That's going to look like a mistake, and it's not going to fare favorably as reflecting to your graphic design skills. Hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. I'll be glad to clarify. Okay, other than that, I think it's a good start. It's a great start. So let's go ahead and address those specific recommendations, and you can feel free to resubmit right here. By the way, I recommend designing a number 10 envelope. For your branding suite. It's really easy to design. It just entails placing your logo in the corner and placing your return mailing address. You just research, just Google the size of a number 10 envelope, and you can add that really easily to your branding suite. And I think it'll work because it'll be something that you'll use. Okay, so those are my recommendations. I'll tell you what, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. But I'd like to see you address those changes. Resubmit here so we can make sure we're heading in the right direction for final submission next week. Or you can just wait and address these recommendations and submit next week with your final branding package. Either way, I'd like to see those changes, those recommended changes addressed. If you have a reason for not making those changes, just let me know, and we'll talk about that. All right, fantastic. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. Thank you, Matt.